Hello, and welcome to another episode of New World Comics Podcast. I'm Buck Berlin, owner-operator of this fine establishment. Joined with me this week is Josh Wilson.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Around the shop, he's one of the media aficionados. Like, you know, he's the one who tells me all the crazy stuff that's going on in the movie world, TV, all that other crazy fun stuff. So we had a non-technical issue because Drew is great at his job. He's going to edit things right now, like, I don't know, me setting Josh on fire. Because that's what he does. Yeah. So, no, we had so much show that we are just going to pick up next time with me and Jerry finishing the last podcast. So, you know, you could either listen to this one after, and then the news that we're discussing today is even later, or you watch them in order and you live your life how you feel is right. So, yeah, that's how we run here.
Of course, you know, I can't compete with the Jerry Bennett. So,
I mean,
not that anybody can.
You could compete.
I would lose.
He looks like he might have weak knees, so just like go for the backs of the knees and like down he goes.
Well,
yeah,
that's true. But
I'm just saying, Titans can fall. Titans can fall.
But
Galactus fell once.
But they leave a big imprint. When they do.
Oh, this got stupid real quick.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
That's
So
what happens when you show up.
Thank you all for watching, and yeah, let's dive right into it. So, Josh, let's talk Marvel movies.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can touch on some of the stuff like, you know, hey, Blade came out in '98 and kicked off the whole idea of, oh, superhero movies might be a profitable thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was Blade.
People want to say X-Men, but we don't want to give Bryan Singer credit anymore.
No, or as he's known at the Oscars, that guy who directed that movie that we're going to honor, which is actually one of the funniest things I've ever seen at the Oscars.
Just saying, you know what's not funny is Bryan Singer. No. Anyway, Blade.
Yeah, Blade really did kind of kick things off because, I mean, we did have superhero films, but it's pretty much limited to Superman and Batman.
Or it was the, you know, not really a superhero movie. Like it's the, oh, hey, did you see that straight to DVD thing?
Or did you see Howard the Duck?
I did as a kid.
Turns out everything George Lucas touches is not gold.
Except for his gold room, which everything is plated in gold.
Yeah, I've heard he has one of those.
Yeah, anyway.
But a lot of tangents. But anyway, yeah, Blade really set things off. I mean, I still think you have to give credit to X-Men. Because I remember 2000 because I'm that old, but I remember when that came out. That was such a big deal. A lot of people really give credit to Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi, though, because X-Men did okay.
Yeah.
It did better than they expected. They weren't expecting like a huge windfall.
Oh, I mean, Spider-Man was just obscenely popular, and it started everything. And then Unbreakable, honestly, is the thing that got people thinking, oh, it doesn't have to be costumes and this kind of thing. It can be many different things. And then fast forward several years, and we'll just jump right into the MCU because that's what people really want to hear about.
Well, yeah, I mean they're the top dog, so
yeah.
Obviously.
So, which, you know, at the same time we had the Dark Knight trilogy going on. Like Dark Knight was out, and then came out real soon to Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man came out in May 2008. Dark Knight came out June or July. It was the middle of the summer.
I feel like it was June because I feel like they just barely competed.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of overlap because Iron Man had been in for so long since.
Right.
But yeah, that was a good comic book movie summer. I mean, I remember we get two.
Yeah,
two.
Oh, we got three.
Yeah,
because it was Hulk.
Yes, Hulk, the forgotten stepchild of the MCU.
I'm just saying, it's a pretty good movie until Abomination shows up. Abomination lived up to his name, which going back and looking at it, like, oh man, hold on, we'll come back to Hulk.
Yeah,
because it's got some high points and some low points.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. But let's talk about Iron Man for a sec.
Sure.
So we got to do the premiere here in Oklahoma City for it, which we gave out some passes and then went down to the theater and handed out comic books and flyers for the store. And we were told that there were just so many passes given out. And anytime they do those premieres, they oversell the theater by 30%.
Yeah.
Is the goal, because they figure that, not everyone's going to use the pass that they're given.
Oh, yeah. I used to work for a movie theater. Those were the worst days ever.
Yeah. So they had oversold the theater by 3 times. Because it was at Harkins, and there was a line, from the door to the theater to the Starbucks downtown. It was insane. And luckily my crew that I had running at the time kept everyone super happy. Almost everyone was very understanding, and we got to give everyone free comic book day flyers,
which is great.
So the movie starts, and I'm all in, and then there's one thing that happened that I was like, oh, this is something special. This is definitely something that you're not going to see anything like going forward. Just because the level of detail that was paid to pay homage to everything that had come before it, which honestly wasn't much.
No.
But so the 66 Iron Man cartoon theme was like da 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 da, which I'm sure Drew is playing now.
Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with a heart of steel.
As Iron Man, all jets ablaze, he's like and slight with repulsor rays. Amazing armor,
That's Iron Man.
a blazing bomber.
They take just the big band music from that, and that's the introduction to Tony Stark at the award ceremony.
Yes,
as he's supposed to walk up to the stage, which I'm sure Drew is playing more or less now.
Yes.
Tony?
See, wasn't that crazy, folks?
Doodly-doo.
Yeah. So that's when I was like, oh, we're in for something. And it to this day is my favorite of the Marvel cinematic movies. It's
the Iron Man franchise as a whole, or Iron Man 1?
Iron Man 1.
Okay.
Yeah. I unabashedly love Iron Man 3. Iron Man 2 feels like a mini-series TV show that they just kind of glued together.
It was set up. It was a set-up movie.
Yeah, it was almost all like, all right, guys, we need all these things to happen in order for Avengers to make a lot of sense, so we're just going to make a movie with all these things.
Yeah, it was a little bit of Jon Favreau was given a checklist, and he even admits that, Fahey was like, here, we need this stuff to go in here.
Yeah, and apparently that was the big fight between him and them, and it was the first time that Marvel really flexed its muscle. It was like, no, we are making these movies, you're facilitating this.
Although it has gotten a lot better because the writing team is no longer there. Well, not the writing team. For those who don't know, Marvel in the early days of the MCU, Kevin Feige was always in charge, but Ike Perlmutter, who used to be in charge of a lot of things Marvel and is now not, had a writer's room set up. They were basically the continuity cops. It was Dan Buckley, Joe Quesada,
It was
Bendis, and I'm forgetting someone.
Mark Miller.
Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Well, all of those guys have been, obviously Mark Miller's gone on, and so has Bendis, but that no longer exists. Feige is directly in control.
Yeah.
So it's his plan, but he's a lot better at facilitating talent. And hey, this is what I need you to do. I don't care, as long as you hit on these points, let's do that.
Right.
So, which very rare thing in Hollywood. I give him a lot of credit. I give him all the credit in the world because he's a very rare animal that can work creatively, but also work on a business side.
Right. And it's interesting to see someone wear both hats and still maintain to wear that same freaking hat he always wears. He changes his hat.
If I had a receding hairline, I'd probably wear baseball caps a lot too.
See, I do have a receding hairline, and I just can't find a good hat that fits my head.
I say that I do have a
found
receding
one at Disney, and yeah. So this got dumb real quick again.
It's going to.
Yeah, it will. Sorry, folks. But the Hulk movie.
Yeah.
So it's so close to feeling like a true Marvel movie, except for the parts where it feels it needs to kind of stick its neck out and point at what it's doing. Like it's the second child that's like, no, pay attention to me now. Look at what I'm doing. And instead of like casually doing the, hey, here's some stuff that worked on the Captain America project for a thing. Like it's the, here it is labeled on the thing. We're going to, have it off to the side, but close up on it. It's subtle, guys.
Well,
subtle.
I hate blaming the guy because I do like him as an actor, but part of it is Ed Norton. Ed Norton rewrote part of the script because he wasn't happy with it. And at the time, people got to remember, Robert Downey Jr. was not the star that he is today.
No, not at all.
He was really just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Because he had burned a lot of bridges. Obviously, Favreau and Fahey believed in him a lot, but Edward Norton at the time was an A-list star.
Yeah.
So that's why he had a little bit more pull, a little bit more clout. I think in a vacuum, Edward Norton works fine. I think in a solo movie that's not connected to anything else, I think he would have been a horrible part of the Avengers. He does not play well with others,
right.
And I think it shows. And the Abomination, as much as I love Tim Roth, terrible.
I love Tim Roth as like the guy leading up to becoming Abomination. Like when we saw what the Super Soldier Serum did to him, like he was running up super fast. He was punching the Hulk. He was doing all of these things at a superhuman rate. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Captain America do all of that stuff for real.
Yeah.
Like if that's just a fraction of what he got, oh my God.
See, I would have just made Tim Roth a different character, not done the Abomination.
Right.
Like, I know we're getting him now, but I would have made him Taskmaster. He could have pulled it off. It would have been fine.
Right. Well, but a Hulk movie has to have the Hulk villain. So, because at the time, it was still before Marvel Studios was a thing, it was a conglomerate of different studios that were like, all right, guys, we'll all play nice.
Not so much now.
And not so much now. Because, Universal was like, sure, we want in. And Paramount was like, yo.
Yeah.
We'll take two.
Both also just happy to be there.
Yeah.
They would love to be there now.
Yeah.
Just a little side tangent. I don't know if you saw, but did you see last year's box office report?
No.
Disney made more money than every other studio combined by a wide margin.
It's because they own everything.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is the first time it's been that wide a margin. Like, nobody came close.
And this is no accident. Like, Disney knows what they're doing.
No, I give credit. I read Bob Iger's memoirs. The guy is one of the smartest men in media today. I'll say it. You might not like him, but which I don't know why, because he seems like a very nice gentleman. But,
I've never met him personally, so I have no opinion.
But Hulk was.
Abomination looks like Abomination got left under the sunlight. Like he looks melted.
Yeah.
It looks almost unfinished.
And I miss my fin ears.
Yeah, like he didn't have the weird eyebrows and the big fin ears. Like, give me that, and man.
Yeah, he looks better that way. I know they wanted to go in a more realistic way, but it didn't really look all that realistic. So
yeah. Speaking of the realistic, like Captain America rolls around, and Thor rolls around because I think Thor was next, right?
Thor and Captain America came out the same year, I believe.
Yeah, but I think it was Thor, then Captain America.
I believe that's correct.
I
believe that's correct.
So because of how grounded in reality Iron Man, it was Iron Man 2 was next, and then Thor and all that. Yeah. Because it was Thor, Iron Man 2 that year.
Yes.
So Iron Man 2 comes out and it sets up all the Avengery stuff, introduces Black Widow, which I still maintain should have been Mia Jovovich. Like, I think she would have done a truer comic book Black Widow.
See, I like Scarlett Johansson. Don't get me wrong.
I like her. I think that she could have been cast as different characters.
I would have preferred their first choice. I would have preferred Emily Blunt.
Really?
Emily Blunt was their first choice, but she had.
Oh, she was attached to the Gulliver's Travel.
No, it was a Tom Cruise movie. It was Live, Die, Repeat.
Was it?
Yeah. Which I actually I think she could have played the very proper detached a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously her career worked out. She's doing fine. Whatever.
But yeah, so I mean, Scarlett Johansson doesn't scream super spy to me.
No, I think Joss Whedon's the one who's handled her the best, especially in that first Avengers where they play up the sex appeal a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I think Scarlett Johansson does really well at that.
Right, but as far as the hold on, let me go be ugly real quick, like no,
yeah, the assassin part not as great.
I don't believe her as an assassin yet.
No.
I mean, we have a prequel movie to I guess set the record straight at this point.
Yeah, kind of excited for it. I mean, I'm excited for all of them, but yeah, I
have my issues with that, but we'll tackle that again. Sure. But so Iron Man 2 comes out and it's kind of clumsy. It's kind of
yeah, it's a
kind of a mess.
Up.
Like it's fun. Like I'll go back and watch it. Like the scene where the suitcase armor clicks onto him.
Yeah,
is still one of the coolest scenes in all the Marvel movies.
Well, I really like Sam Rockwell.
Oh, Sam Rockwell is
he kills it in that.
Yeah. Oh, what a treat! Like
just where he's arguing with Whiplash over the bird.
Yeah,
I really like that scene. I like Mickey Rourke too,
bird.
but
yeah,
not a good Whiplash, but just kind of nice to see him.
Well, it's weird that they were like, okay, so we want Crimson Dynamo, but can we make it Whiplash? Like, because like the whole time they were like in the first Iron Man movie, they wanted to have Obadiah Stane do the big armor.
Yeah, the Ironmonger.
The Ironmonger, but they were going to call it Crimson Dynamo, and then they're like, no, that's stupid. He was Ironmonger. Just do Ironmonger, and they're like, all right, fine, we'll save Crimson Dynamo for the next movie. So then we get, Crimson Dynamo. Like that, like that's who it was.
Yeah, except he's Whiplash.
Except they were like, let's just make him Whiplash. That's cool, right? And then,
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
And they're like, fine, we'll just get it for the third.
Yeah.
And
then Shane Black comes in there. Now,
no, we're doing Mandarin.
Yeah, we're doing my Mandarin.
So that just kind of seemed like a weird departure. On all fronts. And then it just kind of left us like, okay, well, I guess we have War Machine for the Avengers. We have a very interesting Avengers coming up.
Yeah.
And then Thor comes out, and when you go and watch Thor now, you can tell how afraid Marvel was of Thor, because everything was so grounded in reality at the time. Like everything, seemed like a street level type of thing. Thor comes out and he wears his helmet like once, and they get him out of costume as quickly as they can. They really downplay the whole magic hammer, except for it being lifted kind of thing. Like the only person who got to play with magic was Loki, and it was just this whole like, let's character build as much as we can. We got to make everyone love this guy. Please, everyone love this guy and his bleached eyebrows.
And luckily they did. And luckily they really loved Tom Hiddleston a lot.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston chewed on every scene. He was just like, let me tell you what else I have.
He's very naturally charismatic.
Right.
And that I'm glad, because that worked out. A lot of the magic gets downplayed because of China. I mean, I'm not blaming the Chinese people, but they have weird laws.
Yeah, because you can't have magic or ghosts in China.
Yeah.
Because according to China, the Chinese government defeated all ghosts and extinguished all magic.
Yeah. Now, they have laxed on that rule. That's why you're seeing a few things. They've laxed because of the rise of the Chinese middle class, the fact that American movies play very well. They have laxed. So you could say, that's why Doctor Strange, oh, it's magic. They'll give it like, it could also be science, but it's magic.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, okay, we can do that. That's fine. But, remind me to tell you, there's actually a very funny thing about China in Iron Man 3 when we get to it.
Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, Thor comes out and then they like shoehorn in Hawkeye in a really weird scene.
Yeah.
Let's put the hawk in his nest.
Well, we got to have Hawkeye built up a little bit. Which,
yeah, and man,
okay.
As much as I complained about Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Jeremy Renner is a terrible Hawkeye. It turns out that we had the choice between him and Jensen Ackles.
I know, and when I told Kaylee that, she cried so much.
Yeah, well, because like in the comics, Hawkeye will stand up to Hulk and Thor and like tell them what for, and be like, "No, you're wrong. This is what's going on," and talk back to everyone. He's not afraid to stand up to gods and say his piece. Jeremy Renner doesn't seem to portray that Hawkeye. Like he's kind of a smart aleck, but not. He doesn't embody that spirit from the comics.
Now I have high hopes for the Marvel Plus show because if it's fleshed out a little bit more, they've shown promo art, apparently taking a lot from the Matt Fraction series, but yeah he's a little. I don't know. I would have preferred Jensen Ackles. Luckily, Jensen Ackles might be in the MCU eventually.
And we'll talk about that soon.
But, Jeremy Renner is largely considered the weak link. I know Whedon tried to rehab him a lot. I guess at this point, I'd say he's fine. He's not overly terrible, but he's not my favorite version of Hawkeye. He seems to be the ultimate version of Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Which, how I feel about Mark Miller.
When you say Ultimate Hawkeye, for those that are unfamiliar, the Ultimate Comics was a line through Marvel that was reinventing things, getting Marvel stuff ready for the movies, which, they took quite a bit from because a lot of it was a more fresh take on everything. Like that's how Sam Jackson got cast as Nick Fury. It's because in there they were like, hey, we hear that Sam Jackson likes comics. Let's put him in as Nick Fury. Yeah. He saw it and was like, oh, that's dope. So, yeah.
But like the Family Man thing that Hawkeye, that's directed straight from the Ultimates, all that.
Yeah, because in the regular Marvel comics, he was married to Mockingbird and has no children.
Yeah, yeah. Which always wanted to see Mockingbird in the MCU, unfortunately not.
We had Adrian Palicki in the S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Doesn't count.
No.
Doesn't count. Don't care what anybody says. Doesn't count.
I do like that Adrian Palicki as Mockingbird, though.
I do. I just wish she had showed up in a movie.
I think that she is a fantastic choice for that.
Yes. Oh, I like her. Don't get me wrong. There's things I like about Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I treat it the same that the MCU has. Who cares?
Oh. So we had we had Captain America, which because I think we finished on Thor more.
Yeah,
or less.
It's there. It introduced us to the glory that is Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, they blew up the destroyer armor and turned it into a gun for the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So that's Thor.
Yeah.
He's got a magic hammer and he's a demigod.
Yeah.
Marvel was so afraid of like calling things gods and like.
Luckily, they dropped that completely. It's like, he's a god.
Yeah, he's the Prince of Thunder.
Yeah, now he's just like, no, he's the god of thunder.
Yeah.
Which, thank goodness, I think Jason Aaron might have had something to do with that because I know he thought that was stupid.
It's called all this, and I really don't think that anyone was like, pardon me, that's sacrilege. No, it's
a fantasy world.
Yeah, it's fun fake make believe.
Yeah,
calm down.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Let the nerds have their fun.
Yes. Plus, there's actually people who worship the Teutonic gods now again these days.
I know Steve Handy. No, I'm joking.
I know real people who do.
Oh.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, Captain America was the next one. My dad's favorite, actually.
Yeah.
Loves that movie. I actually really like the first Captain America.
I think it's a hoot. I love Joe Johnson. Like, When I heard that, I was like, wait, the guy who directed The Rocketeer?
And you can tell.
Yeah. Which, I didn't know this, like, at the time. He designed the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
Like, he worked on all this, like, he designed so much of the Star Wars stuff. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely insane. If you all get a chance and are near a computer, which I know you are, Google Joe Johnson. Look at his wiki. Just find out more about him. He is quite possibly one of the most fascinating people in Hollywood.
Yeah, he is. He really is. And one of the most, even though he's not, I don't think it's right that he's not considered an A-list director. He should be because he's very talented.
I think that he might be one of the most talented people in Hollywood. And I don't mean like, oh, he's the best at everything. I think that he is able to be incredibly proficient in everything that he does.
He's what you call a mechanic.
Yeah, like he can direct a movie, he can write a movie, he can star in a movie, he can make the set for the movie, he can make the props for the movie, he can design a thing, he can edit, he can do sound, he can everything.
And he's a guy that if you don't have a director, hey, we've got this project, what can you do with it, Joe? And he'll put out a solid film.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily considered an auteur like some of them are. Like
Right.
He's not a household name.
No.
But he's a guy that if you know anything about him, you know anything about film, you see Joe Johnson, oh, this is at least going to be a good movie.
Yeah,
like a solid movie.
You're going to have fun. And there are a lot of people that have a lot of problems with it. And I was talking to some people earlier, and they said on a technical aspect, like the first Captain America movie, apparently is shot with like a not great camera or something. They said just from the look alone, right off the bat, it made all the other little errors in it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's the nitpicky stuff,
Yeah.
which everyone has a right to.
No, everybody has a right to whatever opinion they want. It's personal taste. It's not right or wrong, unless you disagree with me. But no, I'm just kidding. Seriously, though, anybody's got a right to it. I look at the whole beast generally. That I'm not quite as nitpicky.
Yeah.
To me, it's a great movie. I love World War II films too. I think it's great.
I mean, they threw in Tommy Lee Jones to make sure that everyone loved Tommy Lee Jones. Like, it's hey, Tommy Lee Jones, you want to go yell at someone and make fun of them in a snide, sarcastic way? Oh, you mean like I do all the time? Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a solid movie. It made me a believer in Chris Evans because I was very I don't get me wrong, I like Chris Evans, but when he was cast as Captain America, it's like I can't picture it. I can't.
I wasn't on board necessarily for that. Afterwards, I was like, okay, cool. You know, at the time, I remember thinking like, man, Matt Damon would be awesome because. Like the Bourne movies were out, and he was the most like all-American, Captain American looking thing I could think of. But no, I couldn't imagine it with anyone but Chris Evans now. Bucky, however, the kid that's playing Bucky,
Sebastian Stan.
I don't know. I remember watching it, and then like when he goes and rescues him from Arnim Zola, I was like, "Who's that guy?" Like he just wasn't memorable enough.
He's gotten better, but I like Winter Soldier, so I'm willing to kind of forgive a lot of it. But
man, Winter Soldier might be the best technically made Marvel movie. Like
yes,
like beginning, middle, end. Like it's just so incredibly well done.
For a lot of people, it's their number one favorite.
I can see that, and man, that Anthony Mackie. God, what a star!
Well, I knew he was gonna. I had complete faith in Anthony Mackie because I've seen a lot of his work in other films.
I hadn't.
He's an amazing actor. The side note, not a Marvel movie, but where he plays the Supreme Court judge Clarence Darrow. Not that. Oh, God. Forgive me, but he did a movie and. It's fantastic. He's done a lot of really good stuff. He can play pretty much anything.
Really?
Yeah, he's really talented, and it was one of those he's going to break out. Like it was one of those you knew he was going to break out if he was given the right big role. Mm-hmm. And luckily, Falcon was that, and I think he's just one of those guys. He's got a lot of on-screen charisma, and he's very charming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very happy with that movie. It's for a lot of people, it's still their favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, which it's weird to see Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, which works for him because he's not a lot of talking.
Yeah.
I think someone with a little bit more, I don't know, edge to them.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I can't really judge him as an actor because I haven't really seen him in much else. He's done one other movie that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's I, Tonya.
Yeah. Oh, he was great in that.
Yeah, he's really funny, but that's really the only thing I've seen him in.
Apparently he was in like Hot Tub Time Machine or something.
Oh, yeah, he is the bad guy. He's the jock, but
Yeah.
I barely remember it.
Yeah, that's the thing is he just didn't click me as someone I've been proven wrong on these things before. Chris Evans being one of them that I was like, I don't know.
Chris
about
Evans has gotten better and better as time has gone on.
Right. Well, because like the first Avengers movie came around, and like I remember him getting winded, and it was the guys. If Tim Roth in the Hulk movie was punching the Hulk and running top speed, like flipping over trees and stuff, how are you winded?
I hate to say this, but I guarantee you Joss Whedon did not watch the Incredible Hulk movie.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think that he didn't watch it.
But yeah, like Captain America was doing more parkour than like punching or throwing shields. Like
Yeah.
he's flipping and flying. Let's jump out windows and like
Avengers #1, which is the next movie anyway. Still my favorite. One of my favorite movies. It'd be in my top 5. Probably not #1.
Yeah.
But it would be maybe 3. 3 or 4. It's still one of my favorite movies. I think part of it is I still think, there have been Marvel movies that are probably better, but I think it still deserves credit for, nope, they pulled it off.
Yeah.
They pulled it off. It all made sense. It all worked. It all clicked. And, most people were like, there's no way they can do this. It's not going to work.
Yeah, well, because I remember someone up here was like, why are they paying all of those actors to be in that movie? It's not like everyone's going to go see it 7 times. And then I saw it like 7 times.
And they were wrong.
Yeah. But no, it's crazy to think what they initially were trying to do for the first Avengers movie, because now it has come out that like the first round of Marvel movies, they were going to try to make it as like street level as they could and keep everything as downplayed as they could. It was going to be Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Shang-Chi,
and Dazzler.
I remember Ant-Man being part of that too.
There's actually...
yeah, I love Dazzler. I would love Dazzler to be part of the Marvel universe.
Give it time. Give it time.
And I will.
Because I know Kevin Feige's a big fan.
Good.
So...
I love Dazzler.
But yeah, at one point that she was talked about to be in the Avengers.
Oh my God.
And, apparently there was some pushback from that, but...
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, from Pride of the X-Men, Dazzler, like, oh my God, the Dazzler's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great video game.
I will calm down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was going to be the direction that they wanted to go with all that. And then the superhero, the way that Captain America had taken off, and they found that the female audience was identifying more with Captain America. They were like, all right, well, let's lean into the more, colorful, boisterous stuff. So they're like, let's do more like that.
Yeah.
So that's where we ended up getting all this. We were about to have an Ant-Man and Wasp in the Avengers movie, and then that got cut kind of last minute.
Yeah, the Ant-Man and the Wasp has a very long, complicated Marvel history, which I'm sure we'll get to when we jump into that one.
Yeah, and we're not going to go like film by film with all this. It's just kind of the earlier stuff has the more interesting history because that's where they're finding their feet. Like by Age of Ultron, they're like, we know what we're doing.
Yeah, by then you could tell there was a very clear plan. And even Feige's talked about that. Even by the time Avengers rolled around, they had an idea of where they wanted to go, but it wasn't solidified yet.
Right, and they were still doing the shorts for the DVDs and things like that.
Yeah.
And then it came out that they were wanting to do mini movies before the other movies to introduce more characters for them to draw on. Like, we would get a 10-minute Power Man and Iron Fist something, but before one of the movies. And then that idea got scrapped, and then we ended up with the Netflix shows, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it was just kind of an interesting, like, oh wow, what kind of world would that be? Like, oh, they want to do a 10-minute Power Pack movie just because they can.
Yes, I think for me, what solidified though that Marvel, because I know we're not going through, so just kind of jump.
Oh yeah, jump around. Like I just wanted to get through Avengers, and then like we can.
And now we're kind of where most people are all jumped on board,
Yeah, like Age of Ultron is like where everything was
solidified.
This is the plan from here on out.
But where I knew that Marvel could do no wrong was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, which when that got announced, I lost my ever loving mind because ever since the Annihilation series, I was on board with Guardians.
Oh, you know how much I love Guardians, so I was right there with you. But
because I was the one at the shop, like, guys, everyone needs to read this title. It's amazing, and when you read the title, it has the beginning, middle, and end, and it knows that series was going to end with the Thanos imperative. Like it all led to it. It was like when you read the first issue, it's saying, "Hey guys, this team's put together kind of funny." It'd be crazy if like Thanos was it's just that awesome.
I just know for me, because I know we were excited, but I know it was a little bit of a risk.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how audiences would take, but when Rocket Raccoon has one of the most emotional speeches you've ever seen, where I didn't ask to be made, I don't even know what I am. And it's just, oh, I want to hug that weird little raccoon. And like, it's okay. But no, it's one of my favorites. It's still probably my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah.
They're my favorite characters.
I know Guardians 2 is technically the better movie. I love Guardians 1 even more. Like
I like Guardians 1 better, but I do love Guardians 2 as well.
My God, Kurt Russell. Oh, I love that man.
Kurt Russell can do no wrong in my eyes. If I could
choose an uncle, he would be it. Like,
yeah. I mean, he's just fun and done some of my favorite movies of all time.
Speaking of Kurt Russell, his son just got announced as U.S. agent.
Yes, Wyatt.
Oh my God! And so this is recorded the week that the Disney Plus streaming service launched, and they had that behind the scenes thing. Mm-hmm. They show some costumes coming up.
Yep.
His U.S. agent uniform. Oh my God!
I marked out with that and with Baron Zemo because it had Daniel Bruhl. Probably mispronouncing his last name.
I think it's Bruhl. Yeah.
Actually put on the Zemo purple mask.
Yeah.
And, saying, "I'll see you real soon." And I'm just like.
Yeah. And the current news as of today is that the Winter Soldier Falcon show is going to be the U.S. government wanting to have U.S. agent be Captain America.
Yes.
And Bucky and Falcon being like, all right, I guess. And then Baron Zemo somehow mind controls him, and then they're fighting him throughout the whole thing. And we're supposed to get appearances from Yelena Bulovich, the
new Black Widow.
Yeah, the blonde Black Widow.
Yes.
Who's going to appear in the
Black Widow
movie.
Yeah. She's bookending it.
They're also saying that we're going to get Tim Roth as Abomination back.
I have heard that.
And that Thunderbolt Ross is going to be in it, and this might be leading towards the formation of one of my all-time favorite Marvel teams.
The Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts. Oh my God.
Yes, that is another name that's rumored for Thunderbolts is Ghost.
Oh, perfect. Because, she was great in Ant-Man and Wasp. Like, yeah, and if Bill Foster was there to play Atlas, to fill that void on the team,
I guarantee you, though, I will put money on it. If they do Thunderbolts, I guarantee you it will be the first Disney Plus movie, Marvel movie. I will place a bet on it now. I think it will be because they've talked about it, that they want to do a couple of standalone movies just through Disney Plus. I mean, that are not series.
It's safer that way, and I could see that being their safe way to take risks.
Yeah.
Because, they get to control whatever information goes on that. They don't have to be like, hey, this movie that sold $1 billion, and everyone's like, but the theaters were empty.
Well, luckily, it kind of tying in with the Disney Plus stuff, because I guess we can kind of do there.
Yeah.
Luckily, Kevin Feige finally talked about, because they've been saying, the series count, they lead into the movies. He finally shed a little bit of light onto that more than just, you'll see them in movies. Cap and Winter Soldier does kind of, the rumor is funneling into Thunderbolts. It's also going to set some stuff up. U.S. Agent is going to be in more than just this.
Yeah.
Wyatt Russell has signed a long-term contract.
Yeah.
Which he is a fantastic actor. He also mentioned that WandaVision, which is one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most, sets up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, well, because they had said that Scarlet Witch was going to be heavily played in that.
But also Loki sets up that movie they just announced.
Which, that is nuts.
So Loki, or at least a version of Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, will probably be in Doctor Strange.
Which, yeah, I'm cool with that.
And then they also talked about a few of the others. The rumor is Moon Knight is going to lead into Blade.
Which, man, how, pardon the term, how crazy is that? Because Moon Knight's crazy.
The one I'm looking forward to the most, but I love Moon Knight. I'm a huge fan.
Moon Knight is getting such excitement behind it that I'm afraid that whatever they put out won't live up to that expectation.
I think it depends all who the casting is. I think when we finally see who's playing Moon Knight is going to be whether we should be like, yay, or whether we should be like, maybe we should not lose our excitement, but temper it a little bit. Like if it's an unknown, like, okay, we're going to have to wait and see.
Who do you want as Moon Knight?
If he wasn't already rumored for another Marvel project, and I know this is going to be a little controversial, I would like to see Keanu Reeves play Moon Knight.
Who's he rumored to be?
Take this with a grain of salt because this is from a website that is hit or miss. But some have mentioned, they have not mentioned exactly yet. Oh, who's Keanu Reeves going to be? Keanu Reeves is rumored for Namor, the Submariner.
What?
It's a rumor. I know Keanu Reeves has met with Marvel Studios, but that's one of the rumors that the last I saw it was Keanu and it was Luke Evans, who were the two names being tossed around the most.
Luke Evans, who dat?
Luke Evans is. Did you see the Disney remake of Beauty and the Beast?
No.
For those out there, he's the guy who played Gaston. He was in Dracula Untold, which was like a Dracula prequel series.
I, much like the rest of America, did not see that movie.
No, most people didn't. But he's a fine actor. He's talented. But I know Keanu would be a bigger get. But I would much rather him see Spectre. I think he's at the age where you could play. I would take a lot if I was doing Moon Knight. This is just me. I would take a lot from the Warren Ellis series, obviously, because it's 6 issues. It's well contained. I recommend it to anybody who's getting into comics.
Right.
It's one of my favorite short stories of all time. But I would also do The Bottom by Charlie Houston, where Moon Knight's a little bit older. He's beaten down. He's broken a little bit. And I think Keanu can really play that, where he is a badass, but he's also like, I got some, aches and pains, and I'm, whatever.
Throwing a little Ben Affleck Daredevil for you.
Yeah, except not bad.
If you watch the director's cut of that movie, it's way better, which it hasn't aged well. I used to tell everyone, hey, watch the director's cut of Daredevil. It's a great movie. Given time and that we have so many better superhero movies, it's a better bad movie now.
Yes.
Like they cut out a lot of weird stuff, and like they give a whole detective thing for Matt Murdock. Anyway,
But the reason I don't think it'll be Keanu is because one of the things that for Moon Knight is they do want to, since Mark Spector is Jewish, they would like to hire a Jewish actor to play Mark Spector. Just to, because they want to actually promote diversity. Let's have a Jewish actor actually play one of the few, aside from The Thing and Kitty Pryde, play one of the few Jewish Marvel characters.
Sabra. I know.
Yeah. But yes, supposedly he'll lead into that. Miss Marvel, I guarantee you, will be in a new Avengers or Champions movie.
Oh, I love the Champions.
I guarantee
I love both iterations of the Champions.
I guarantee you we will get some sort of Champions movie. But
I mean, if they just get Ghost Rider, and I guess Black Widow will be dead. If we get new Black Widow and get the X-Men, we're not getting the 70s Champions.
Well, what a lot of people haven't talked about, which I would love, even though they've used the name, we have Hulk.
Yeah.
We have Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we
might have Namor.
We don't have Silver Surfer.
We do now. They have the rights to Silver Surfer.
Right, but he hasn't appeared in the thing, and it'd take a while to get the whole...
Eventually, we could do Defenders.
I would love Defenders.
Eventually, we could do Defenders.
Is it weird that I love Champions more than I do Defenders?
No.
I mean, which is crazy because I love Hellcat, but like most of her stuff in Defenders is just not great.
But also keep this in mind with a grain of salt. She-Hulk, I do know what they're playing She-Hulk as. They're wanting to do it as, this is going to be an old reference for the youngins out there, but a superhero version of Ally McBeal.
Yep.
It's going to be like Dan. If you've read the Dan Slott book, it's going to be that.
Or just watched Futurama. She's a single
female lawyer.
Yeah, single female lawyer. Yeah.
But she's
got problems.
There are rumors that Matt Murdock will be back ended into the MCU that way proper.
Yeah.
Because the thing with Netflix is, so they canceled Daredevil in 2018.
Yeah, and they're not allowed to use any of those characters 2 years after their cancellation date. Yeah. Which I remember everyone losing their mind. And I was like, 2 years is like no time in Hollywood.
Yeah, because She-Hulk, I guarantee you, She-Hulk, Moon Knight... I know they're being rushed, but I guarantee you it won't be till at least 2021.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if we go from Marvel series, that one ends to the next one, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Because Feige's already explained that not all of these series will do, he calls them mini-series, like a comic book. Mm-hmm. They're not all going to get a second season.
Right.
Some of them will be just used to, what is this character doing before you see them show up in a movie again?
Right.
Why are they acting weird? So I think Disney Plus, if they do it right, can do that. You can just go from one Marvel series to another because you don't have to worry about, he said they're not all going to be like the Netflix they're not all going to be 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Which was a major mistake in my mind of the Netflix stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of those shows drag.
Every series had at least 3 throwaway episodes. It was just like, what are we doing here?
At least.
Yeah. Some of them had 12 throwaway episodes.
You mean John Martindale's show?
I didn't say that. First season of Iron Fist. Anyway, so yeah, it's weird that we're at a point right now where it's until May that we're not getting anything new Marvel.
I don't actually have a problem with that because I would rather them take their time and rush. I actually did get into an argument with a friend of mine. It's like, well, they're promoting all these Marvel series, but they're not actually premiering with any of them on there. And I'm like, guys, this isn't unusual for movies. Movies promote. Hollywood's always promoted projects there 2 years down the line.
Yeah.
You want to get it excited. But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier's coming first. I think it's probably going to be wrapped shooting soon if it hasn't already. And then I think What If the animated series is next.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a weird time to be at where we always had within 4 to 6 months the next thing.
Yeah.
And we just don't right now.
I think that's okay. I think after Endgame, we needed a little palate cleanser.
Right.
I don't generally have a problem with that because I don't think it's going to kill any excitement. I think fans are still on board.
Well, and Marvel getting ready to go 4 movies a year, I think, is a little bit aggressive. But I think, 3 3 movies a year feels more right, but
well, keep in mind when Alan Horn said that, they did ask him. He goes, "All of those theatrical?" And he goes, "Well, not necessarily." So that's why I was talking about the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I see more or less 2 to 3 theatrically and maybe 1 on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Because I know HBO Max has already said they're doing that with DC.
Yeah.
So I think Disney's going to want to do the same thing. I mean, movie industry's changing. And it's changing at a rapid pace.
I heard Kevin Feige talk about that as when he went to film school. It was film and television studies, whereas now it's just cinematic studies.
Yeah.
Because the lines between TV and film are getting blurred, especially with like HBO and Netflix doing the quality of shows that they're doing.
Yes.
That things are looking more, television is looking almost indistinguishable from film.
And that's why I think it's another thing that you can do all that on Disney Plus, because it's like, you can watch it as your leisure. You don't even have to watch it necessarily if you don't want to, but you pay your year rate, you might as well, But yeah, I think it's a smart business decision. I think it's going to pay off. I think it already has paid off for them. But, really 3 movies a year, we've kind of already been getting that anyway.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's what I'm always afraid of, like, oh, is this too much?
Yeah.
Because I love it. I don't want this to stop. I'm just afraid of the non-comic fans, the non-nerds, to be tired of it.
See, I don't think it will, because I think Marvel has done a very good job of setting superhero films up as a genre at this point.
Yeah.
And genres never really go away. Something might overtake it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever go away. I mean, we still get the same.
We still get Westerns and yeah.
Yeah. Although it was funny, Feige also said what he feels is going to be their first big risk is the Eternals.
Oh, so do I. I am terrified of that because, as me, the comic fan who's read, most of the comics, I can show you to the good Eternal comics, but I can't show you the great Eternal comics. Like Inhumans, I can do here are the great stories that you can read. Here's everything that you should collect. Eternals, I can point to the Neil Gaiman one and be like, well, this is adequate and we'll introduce you to the characters and be okay. The first issue of the Eternal series is pretty broad and feels like a New Gods issue. Mm-hmm. And then everything after that is bad.
Here's why I can tell you that it's not as big a risk as Feige thinks it is. Richard Madden and Kit Harington. I know a lot of women who are friends of mine, my own wife, don't know who the Eternals are, don't care. But as soon as I tell them Kit Harington's in a Marvel movie, they do not care. They're going to go out and watch that movie.
It's the inclusion of Kit Harington as Black Knight, who, outside of him flirting with and kind of having a relationship with Cersei in the Avengers books, has very little to do with the Eternals, really, so this tells me that it's not really going to be a movie about the Eternals. It's going to be probably a love story.
That's what they've already said. It's a love story between Black Knight and Cersei.
How about that? Look at that, comic fans.
And Icarus will probably have a similar track in the movie, but he will be a big part. But they did actually come out and say, no, it's a love story.
Okay, well, good. And for those watching, I'm a huge Dane Whitman fan. So like when they said, "Oh, Black Knight's the thing," I was like, "Oh my God, I lost my mind again." And yeah.
Although I imagine that interview with Kit Harington went funny. Like, "Oh, Kit, we'd love to have you on board a Marvel movie. Finally, I get to do something different than play a sullen knight who swings a sword."
Yeah, about that.
We're not saying you've been typecast, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. Very excited for the Fantastic Four being back home. Very excited for the X-Men being back home.
I will say I'm a little sad that David Harbour's showing up in Black Widow because he was my pick for the Thing.
He would have been a great Thing.
Oh my God! Although everyone keeps saying that John Krasinski and Emily Blunt for Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman.
I'm okay with that.
I would prefer John Hamm and Elizabeth Banks.
I would prefer John Hamm, definitely.
And Elizabeth Banks just kind of seems like the mom type that is not afraid to tell you a dirty joke.
Yeah.
And then I think Zac Efron would be a great Johnny Storm.
He has talked to Marvel as well.
Interesting.
DC tried to snap him up for something, and I don't think it worked out.
Huh. Was it because they don't make the quality of movies that they should?
That's possible. I also think I think if you're an actor, if Marvel comes to you, there's a clear plan.
Yes.
Well, there's a clear plan. Like they can tell you, we want you for this. This is what we plan on doing. That DC at this point is more like, we'd like you to work with us. Well, as what would you like to do? I think it's a little bit more, unless you're Batman, it's up in the air.
Yeah.
But the Jensen Ackles thing, by the way, is he's one of the names rumored for a recasting of Wolverine. Once again, grain of salt.
Le gasp, which is French for.
But the other thing is that Fahey desperately wants Hugh Jackman back.
I like him. I want to see a short Wolverine.
It's really hard with actors, though.
No, it's not, man. It's really not.
Unless you're Tom Cruise.
Yeah, find short people.
But
short people are people too. I'm just saying.
But yeah, there's apparently a Hulk versus Wolverine movie in the works, which I think if you're going to do a solo Wolverine movie after Logan, best way to do it. Give the fans something excited and different that they actually.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a Wolverine podcast at some point because through the shop there is no bigger Wolverine fan than yourself that's come through. My God. Tom
at this point knows a Buck's employee. Hey, Josh, this has Wolverine on the cover. Yeah. Would you buy this? I'm like,
it's pretty close to hey, this is a Wolverine shaped object.
Yeah,
here you go. Yep. All right, we gotta.
Sorry. Yeah. Wolverine to me is the John McClane of superheroes. That's why I love him. That's who he is. But. Yeah, so I'm very excited to see what they do with the X-Men because I know a lot of people are like, well, Fox did a lot. Fox only scratched the surface of X-Men stories. Yes. It was all very grounded, very realistic.
I would say that Fox thumbed the surface of so many X-Men stories. They just we're trying to.
Which is really sad that they did Dark Phoenix over again because I thought the Phoenix Saga would have been a great trilogy.
That's a thing to build towards, not hey, it's our second time to play this stuff.
It should have been a trilogy. It should have been a Jean Grey focused trilogy.
Oh, this should have been now with all the Marvel movies, this should be like movie 6 or 7 is we should get around to that.
You know what we could get since he signed a long-term contract?
Don't say Starjammers.
I was going to say we could get Inferno as a storyline because Thor plays a part in Inferno.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they'll do it because then we have to, it's a clone of Jean Grey. That's also the mother of Cable. And I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting there. I think that's when the fans revolt.
Oh, yeah. X-Men, you're going to have to streamline that stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, let's not go into Cyclops and Jean Grey's weird family tree.
Just have your Cyclops have big-handed Beast.
Yeah.
Oh no, he fumbled and turned himself furry. Yeah.
I'd be fine if Fahey just went to the creators of the X-Men, the animated show. It's like, how did you guys streamline these story arcs? And then just.
Well, which is funny because all those were happening while they were creating the show. So that's nuts.
And it's a wonderful show. But there's, just between Fantastic Four and X-Men, you could do 2 phases right there. Yeah. One year you could have X-Men as your anchor movie and then some little movies around it. One year Fantastic Four is your anchor film.
Well, it's interesting the amount of X-Men stuff that they have to draw from because for about 20 years Marvel was X-Men.
Yeah.
Everything that was happening in the other titles almost didn't matter.
80s and 90s up until the early thousands.
I'd say late 80s is when it really took over because early 80s was Marvel was still Marvel.
Yeah.
But right around 88, 89, 90, that's when X-Men took over and things really stopped mattering in the other books.
Except maybe Spider-Man. It was kind of the X-Men and Spider-Man
X-Men and Spider. Okay, I'll give you that. But yeah, like Avengers was just a farce. Like, it was an ineffectual team that didn't really do anything but yell about the aliens. Like, oh no, the Kree showed up. Oh no, the evil Kree showed up. Wait, worse Kree showed up. Hey, Shi'ar, you all wanna know this? Oh, cool, we're getting your Wolverine of characters. Great. Death Cry. Oh, look, she's terrible too.
Well, that's why I thought it was funny. It kind of about the MCU. When Iron Man first came out, my dad, he's a big comic book fan back in the day. And he was going, do the Avengers even count anymore? And I remember, I was like, yeah, Bendis kind of brought them back by putting Spider-Man on the team. But, I do think, there's a lot that they can still do with... I would have been a little bit worried if Disney didn't buy Fox, because I do think you need a big anchor franchise. Yeah. And they were running a little low on some of those. Still plenty of side characters you could do wonderful things with. But now it's like, it's fine.
It's interesting that they got rid of two of their big three right off the bat. I guess four of their big five.
Basically, Black Widow's going to do this movie and not come back.
Yeah, but as opposed to just kind of pick and choose along the way, they're going to have to elevate some characters pretty fast to make sure that they are the new standard.
Well, but although I don't know if you noticed, but Chris Evans has already backpedaled on that, done with the MCU comment.
Well, I think everyone at some point is going to backpedal. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is going to show back up at some point to do a thing.
He's in Black Widow as a flashback.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, he's going to show up in other things.
Well, that's why Kaylee, I'm not going to do spoilers for Endgame, because if you haven't seen it at this point, you're watching this podcast. I found that hard to believe.
Yeah.
But Kaylee's like, they killed Iron Man. I was like, honey, they killed him in such a way you could easily bring him back because you didn't really see a dead body.
And even if you did, it's hey, look, it's Tony Stark's consciousness in a thing.
Yeah.
Or he programmed an AI of himself, and here's a holographic Robert Downey Jr.
He's in a healing coma.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Thanks,
some
Bendis.
Stupid thing. Yeah.
But yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they choose to go for, because Marvel's now going to pull from the current cast of new characters while ingratiating the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and all of them into the thing.
That's why I think Miss Marvel is such a good project that they announced, because she's so beloved.
As long as they make sure that she is as lovable as the character on the page, I think that you're going to have an absolute new superstar.
Now, I don't know what they're going to do with her origin.
Yeah, the whole Inhuman thing, I think they're going to downplay that.
Well, I've heard two different things that contradict each other, and this is from, gossip inside baseball sites.
Yeah.
One is Marvel considers Inhumans a dirty word.
Yeah.
And they don't want to mention them, and they're dead. The other is Feige really wants to wait a little bit and completely relaunch them.
Which is interesting because...
as a film.
I saw on the Disney Plus that Inhumans is an option.
I know. They put Avengers United We Stand on there.
Oof.
So, they're not opposed to putting, terrible things on there.
I will say that's probably the perfect place to end this is, folks, of all the things on your Disney Plus to watch, don't bother with the Avengers United They Stand. It came out in 2000, or 99 or
99.
Yeah.
99.
It is absolutely one of the worst things that Marvel ever made.
Well, let me say this. Watch it if you like films like The Room. Go ahead and watch United We Stand.
Yeah, now everyone just perked up and was like, "Oh, it's that bad." It's not quite that bad, but it's Room adjacent.
It's probably the worst modern. Well, I would say just worst Marvel cartoon.
Worst Marvel cartoon. Yeah.
I can't think of anything that comes close to the.
Not at all. So yeah, that's why I said that's the perfect place to end on. Is the hey guys, fair warning, don't do that.
No, just watch your X-Men. Watch. There's a couple of Spider-Mans on there that's really good.
Yeah,
you
the Spectacular Spider-Man series is absolutely the best Spider-Man series of all time. Josh, thanks for being part of this.
Oh, no problem. I had fun.
Yeah,
great.
like I said, we'll throw you back in the mix, especially when we do the Wolverine special.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I look forward to that because I've got some love and a whole bunch of hate for Wolverine.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he was overrated. Now they've kind of fixed a lot of the problems I've had with him. But you could argue he's a much different character now. But again, that is for
A different time.
a different time. Folks, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, but carefully. I don't know.
Hit that smash button, as the YouTube show says.
Yeah, we're not that kind of show. Don't. Yeah. Thanks, folks, and we'll see y'all next time.